So Ollie, we're here at the special Novation Circuit launch. So Circuit, a very interesting new piece of hardware, right?
Yeah, this is a very exciting product launch for me. Perhaps the most exciting thing that I've been working on at Novation. It's our first Groovebox. It takes the same pads that we use on our launch pads. So these are velocity sensitive RGB backlids pads. So you've got a grid of 32 pads. Some macro encoders at the top. I can actually show you the back. It's got...
Right, so it's not a controller.
It's not a controller, it's an instrument. It's a 4-part drum machine and 12 voice, 2x6 Nova-based synthesizers.
Right. But it's using a lot of the kind of knowledge that you've gained from doing all of these launchpad type stuff as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
I can see a lot of familiarity.
Yeah, it really is the child of two of our kind of product segments, which is our Nova Heritage synthesizers and the launchpad range. But it's more than just sticking a synth and a launchpad together. We've spent a long time developing a new sequencer engine, and the real point of the product is to help the creative part of music making.
I was going to ask, because you've had quite a sort of obscure teaser campaign where they're sort of starting something, finishing something. Is that the sort of notion of making it kind of a creative process?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Part of the writing thing. Rather
yeah,
than
I kind of taking people out of the box, literally, and making you approach music making differently. In the same way that if you play the piano and then get given a guitar, the way that you approach your music making is different. The chords that you play and the melodies you play are different.
Right. Different relationship.
It's different relationship, and rather than opening up your favourite bit of software, doing the same things, loading up a drum machine, adding samples, loading up synths, by the time you've loaded your first sample on Circuit, you should have already got the beginning of the machine going.
They're going to be screaming, "Can I hear something? Let's hear something."
That's okay. So rather than play a demo session, I'm going to start with nothing. I'm going to press play. I'm going to choose a tempo. Let's go 126.
Oh, are you using the display for readout there? The pads for readout? Nice.
Yeah. Let's just go straight and have a bit of swing as well. Let's go into my drums, and you can see that we've got two sequences running in parallel. Drum 1 is default kick, and synth 2 defaults to snare.
Okay, so simple 16-bar, 1-bar pattern.
Right? 1-bar pattern. Let's add some hi-hats.
We got the swing.
Yeah, we've got the swing, and then let's replace a close for an open here.
And these, how many? I mean, these aren't fixed. Are they drum synthesizers or are they samples?
They're sample based, but we've got a kind of we've got very useful drum programming parameters: pitch, decay, distortion,
right, so macros,
and a high-low filter.
Okay, so play the pattern and give me something.
So let's tune the kick a bit higher. Add a lot of distortion.
All right, so kick, drum 1, drum 2, right? Okay,
yeah, drum 1 here, drum 2 here.
And can you record that sort of sequence?
Yeah, so if we go to drum 4, I currently open hi-hat, but I'll press Shift, drum 4, and select a new.
Right,
so I've got 32 here, and if I page up, I've got another 32. So hats and cymbals are here. Percussion are here, and then on the other page, which is the default for drums 1 and 2, we've got kicks and snares and claps.
So you could put a kick on drum 4 if you want.
Exactly. So in some of the demo sessions, I've just got 1 kick and then 3 toms.
Right.
Or I've got double kicks and a clap and a snare at the same time.
And what sort of samples are we talking about? Are they kind of drum station type?
What dance music needs to sound great is good drums. So we've made sure that rather than just ticking boxes, this type of drum, this type of drum, this type of drum, we've just really chosen good quality drums.
And are those interchangeable? They're not. There's not sample RAM in there. It's just ROM based. Is it?
It's they're all loaded. They're all preloaded.
Right.
The drums are fixed, but we've chosen the macros so that it doesn't seem a lot, but pitch, distortion, decay, and the filters really you can really transform the drum sounds.
Because you've got the filters are high-low, aren't they?
Yeah. So if I pick a percussion, go to here, and let's just solo that. So a bit of distortion and cutting the envelope, you get a very different to sound what the original sound was. Boost the top, take the top out.
Right.
And actually I can even record.
Right, so you can record the parameter movements. Okay. It's a hit as far as I can tell.
Yeah, thanks.
So, one thing that's really starting to annoy me a little bit about little things is one-bar patterns. I mean, surely music has a bit more to offer.
Yes, one-bar patterns are fine, but they're a bit repetitive.
So, the faster they get.
Yes. So we are not concerned about one-bar patterns. We like 8-bar patterns. So I can do that, and I now have an 8-bar pattern. I can do that, and I have a 2-bar pattern, 4-bar pattern, or 3-bar patterns.
Right.
And now you can do clever things. So if you
can make them polyrhythmic and have
the drums are fixed to 16.
Right.
The synths can be any number between 1 and 16. So we can have 5s versus 7s. But you can chain patterns together. So I can have a 8, 8, 16, 7, 4, 13,
Right,
12, 9 if I want to. Or I can just have short ones that I can use as fills. As soon as it reaches the last step in the pattern, it will go to the next one. So if I, let's actually.
So this block of patterns, is one slot in the sequencer. Is that how it works?
Yes. So this is a bar 2, bar 3, bar 4, bar 5, bar 6, 7, or 8.
Right. Okay.
But obviously you can do that
And then you got
and leave it play, and then you hit that, and you'll get. So we'll demonstrate that. So let's just duplicate that.
Right.
So that's the pattern that I recorded. So let's go to this one, double this pattern up here. So now we've got an empty pattern. Chain them together.
Right, okay, so we can get into pattern chaining mode and sort of song chaining mode as well, so that gives us...
Well, so you can't actually chain songs.
Ah, okay.
I'll show you the songs in a bit, because I'll save this, and then I'll save it to a different slot, and we can show you that.
Okay.
But before we do that, we've got velocity. Velocities.
Oh, so we're multi-tracks on the sequencer, right? Okay.
Yeah, so if we go back to the drums, let's just make a new pattern here. No, let's do a new pattern here. So we've got nothing. So this is our hat and percussion.
Right.
If I press shift and notes, I can actually record in. Hit velocity, and now we can see here the different notes. So if I stop it, that's the velocity for that one. Different velocities.
So you can create a bit of shuffle and
so
fill,
let's fill in some ghost notes here.
Okay, gotcha. So tell me about the synthesizers.
So yeah, 2 Nova-based synth engines. So we've kind of stripped the Nova engine down to what's applicable to a device like this.
Right, so macro controllable. Effectively.
So yeah, so rather than having loads of LFOs and loads of envelopes, we stripped it down to just a few. But actually, when you get the unit, you will never see the envelopes. We've packaged them up into macro controls.
Right.
Each macro control is either one thing or 4 things.
Right.
And as let's load up a note. So let's just put a note in here and make the length of that note 8. And let's make the length of the pattern 8, so we're just going to have a note repeating over and over again.
Right, gotcha. So that's a sort of...
So that's a bit of filter and resonance at the same time. Generally oscillator stuff here, envelope stuff here, filter stuff here, and then other mods and crazy effects.
And again, this is all controllable over the pattern as well, if you want to. I'll record, there's some effects in there as well.
So here's a chorusy thing here.
Right.
So I quickly tap record, wiggle the knob, turn record off, and that movement's recorded.
Right, so it's quite powerful. You can get some pretty powerful movement up on going up there, right?
Yeah, so let's just record that in as well, and let's add some extra notes in the gaps. Right, and now those macros that I've recorded, of the notes have now gone underneath it. There's actually a little trick. Now I can actually stop it, And as I play these, you can see, yeah. So now you've got this free kind of automation replayer thing. And out of USB, you'll get 8 MIDI values that all go out in real time.
Is the USB audio as well, or just MIDI?
USB's just MIDI.
Right.
So if you plug it into any DAW, it's got auto sync detect. So basically set your external clock out, press play in your DAW, and this will just work. Alternatively, set internal clock in, press play on here, and your DAW will sync up.
Brilliant.
And that will also work with, there's some Rolands on the wall there, and any other.
So one thing that's interesting, that you say you've got these macro controls, are they accessible externally, or is it's all packaged up? So can you get to the individual parameters via software or via MIDI control, or is it all?
Not yet. We know that we want to do some sort of software. We have a plan of what we might do. We're not at the stage yet to say we're definitely doing this and then we're doing this. But I think it won't be too long until we'll start to release what the plan is.
So I mean, essentially, this is a Groovebox. Your first attempt, well, your first Groovebox with 2 polyphonic synths, 2 6-voice synths, and 4 drum parts.
4 drum parts and an effects engine.
Oh.
So if we've got this soloed. So actually, just before I do the effects, shifts. Let's choose a different. So I've picked a different sound, all the automations are saved.
Right.
They might do something slightly different on a different patch. And that's fine, because we want people to experience as many happy accidents as they possibly can.
Right.
We know that the whole, well, I know personally that when you're writing music, it's normally the things that you didn't think of are the most interesting. And this product in a way has been designed to pick out all those like
stuff
when
you wouldn't ordinarily.
Like loading a drum sample in a when you load a drum sample into a melodic line that accidentally you've dragged the sample to the wrong track and suddenly you go, oh, that sounds great.
Right.
So
those sort of things are
those sort of things, yeah. Let's.
We are rushing this a little bit because there are lots of people waiting, so I do appreciate you.
So here's a crazy noise that we've made by mistake. Let's add some reverb, little reverb, big reverb. This is synth 1, so we use this knob here. Or delays. And we've got that pitchy effect.
Right.
Again, it always makes some funny noises, so let's embrace those funny noises.
And is that a master filter on the output?
Yeah. So it's the standard DJ style filter. So high pass this way, low pass this way. So let's just get everything else back in again. Now this comes really useful, so I'm going to save that session. It's a beautiful composition. Go to sessions, filter up, and then filter down into my next track. And this is done without
transitioning. Right.
This is doing for transitioning. That session switching is done in time.
So everything on here, all the pattern it's real time. So you build it up, you copy, you're doing all of that stuff. It's all real time.
So we were talking about 1 bar's not enough. For quite a lot of people, 8 bars not enough either.
Right.
So I've got 16 demo sessions, which I'm free to delete at any point that I want, or I can use these 16 free slots, save this one into a new slot
while it's playing.
And that will happen while it's playing. So save that into another slot. Now I can go to scale mode, transpose that up a 4th, save it. And now the other secret one, press shift.
Right.
And rather than it wait for you to change session, it will do it automatically. Now this is the super amazing happy accident mode. So I go to this one. And here are all the demo sessions.
Well, here's a thought. Does that output over MIDI? So you could do that kind of like almost patch change per...
Every synth note and automation value for synth 1, synth 2, drums, plus mixer volume automation, plus effects send automation, all of that gets sent up the USB, and they all come out on different channels.
Right.
So if you want to connect it to Ableton or Logic, and you've got various instruments on different channels, all of that stuff will go out.
Right.
What comes out of the MIDI is a bit more limited due to the MIDI bandwidth. So out of the MIDI port, you'll get all the note data, but you won't get the automation.
Okay.
But if you wanted to plug into Ableton,
Then
you can sync it to Ableton automatically,
Right.
hit play on Ableton, now you've got a standalone sequencer that you can route into any instrument,
Right.
and all the macros controls on here, you can then learn to whatever synth you want.
Okay. So
Or hardware, obviously you can use it as a hardware sequencer.
did I hear that it's batteries and a speaker?
Yeah, I don't know how heavy is this. This isn't a heavy one, which
So it's
means
probably
that
not got the
it's
batteries
not got the batteries in. But if I unplug the cables
Yep.
and hit play. So the speaker's on the bottom, but we've put a little feet on it so it will reflect off the desk.
I mean, you can just basically do it on the kitchen table.
You can do it on the kitchen table, but then if you want to be creative, my favourite trick's the metal bin trick. You just drop it in a bin and then you get that resonance, but I can stick it up my mouth. Or rest it on a pint glass.
Talkbox.
Talkbox. Any having the speaker is just another way to promote that creativity.
Because a lot of the thing is like when you first hear portable speakers, batteries, everybody goes, oh. But actually the philosophy is so you can just do it anywhere and kind of forget about it. Turn the computer on for a bit. Right?
It's fun first, and it's got lots of serious stuff in it as well. But I think fun first, and when you're in a fun place, you're generally more creative, and
Right.
There's nothing more sapping to creativity than being
IT.
Yeah. Being grumpy in front of your music equipment. Let's be happy.
No, we don't want that. So I guess how much and when?
£250.
Bloody hell.
$329, and actually, in a week or so.
Well, right.
Yeah, so public announcement is today, and then they'll be in the shops in a few weeks.
Ollie, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I realised we put you on the spot there. Launch day. Thank you.
Cheers.